Other considerations before we began whole grade sharing, and that was just right about this time last year, or from now until about May, we had some resignations. Retirements, people that took positions in other communities. So that first bullet just says before we began whole grade sharing, there were a few resignations and retirements, all of which came from staff on SAC contracts. That contributes to an imbalance then in just the number of staff and the amount of money we're spending for it. And I gave you the FTEs from the BEDS document and certified enrollment. The SAC FTE for 0708 is 37.3, and the full-time equivalent for 2006-07 was 41.9. We had an ad hoc meeting last night. One of the things we talked about is as we rehire some positions, we may look at considering hiring people on a couple of staff people. We've got a couple resignations, so we may hire a couple staff people on SAC contracts just to start to equalize that so that when we do our exchange of money, there isn't as much difference between what those numbers look like. We've got a middle school position to refill. Lakeview Auburn will accept a resignation on Monday night for a high school position. One of those is currently on a SAC contract, one's on a WLVA, but we could just as well have both of those be on SAC contracts if we wanted to do that. So that might be more than you wanted to know. But we looked last month at this sheet with the idea that we make sure Frank took a look at the details of it, and he has. We think it's accurate, and we look at approval of this exchange of money at the February meeting for both SAC and Lakeview Auburn. The activity expenses, you'll see tonight, we'll bring those back next month for approval.
I have a couple of questions. Actually, it's not so much. How many total preschool handicapped students do we have or between both at Wall Lake?
5 or 6. 6 now.
6 total?
Yeah.
And that includes the 2 that...
Includes SACs too. Yeah. There had been 3 from Wall Lake to Auburn, and a new family moved in 2-3 weeks ago that had students that qualified for the program. There are 6.
Okay. And what is the...
And those kids, there's weighted enrollment for those kids, even though they're preschool. So we get funding for those kids, preschool handicapped hours.
What's the FTEs for WLVA this year? Do you know off the top of your head? Just for comparison.
It is 42 or 43 point something.
Okay.
I think. I'd have to go with it.
That's close enough.
So
you're looking for a
motion
to approve
the 470
yeah.
or 468?
The 478, 258, because at Lakeview Auburn I'll be looking for a motion to approve the 371. And this down here is just to show you that
it's included.
These are some of the pieces that are included in this, in addition to sharing salaries for teachers and administrators.
I make the motion to approve the $478,268 to be reimbursed to WLVA.
Second. It's been moved and second to approve the $478,268 to be to WLVA. Excuse me. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
One question I have with that is, assuming that Lakeview Auburn approves theirs, their payment to us, can we kind of make sure that both checks get written at the same time? So our books don't go goofy, crazy, bad, and, you know, that'd be my only concern, that they get written cash within the same reporting period, so it kind of shows a reflection of that.
And then next month, we're looking at the expenses.
Next month we'll look at approving
activity
this
expenses
sheet
too.
and this sheet right here. And once those are approved, we're current then with each other through the end of the first semester. And the next time we'll look at it will be toward the end of that second semester. Now remember, with activities, we'll have things like FFA and drill team. We have several activities that are year-round. There's really no end to it. And we'll not in June have baseball, softball. We'll probably be able to have golf. But we'll have a few things that we'll stop a few activities and just say on X date, everything up to that point is what's going to be billed to each other. And receipts and expenses. We'll
That'll
have
have to be done by the end of June.
yeah, and we'll probably take a date sometime earlier in June to say by June 5th or something. We're going to shut it off for FFA, drill team. I can't think of what else, but we had like 4 or 5 things.
We just keep track of all this. Did you?
John and Jennifer and Frank.
Good luck with that.
And there are times when we all look at each other kind of like, The good part is, with a lot of us looking at it, we typically catch what we got some mistake along the way too. So.
Anything else on?
The only other thing
that?
under sharing that I would update might be that we had an ad hoc meeting last night. The 2 board presidents, vice presidents, middle school principal, high school principal, AD, and myself. We met for a couple hours, talked about the first semester, and then kind of looking forward to the second semester. Talked about what worked, if we had any glitches, how we take care of them, or what we'd look at. And actually, it was a good conversation, I thought.
The biggest hitch, and we knew it going in, was the busing, transportation to and from everything.
It was a good meeting. I mean, it feels good to sit down and talk about it together for a little while, cooperatively. So we'll do that again toward the end of the summer when we finish up our summer sports activities and kind of review those, and we'll be able to look at the end of the first semester, second semester at school, and the beginning of our second year of full grade junior year.